All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
Sorry for the late start, ladies and gentlemen. Loyalist and I was having a little conversation before it started. One of us was lagging. We couldn't figure out which one because I was lagging for him, but both of us was perfectly fine for me. So I don't know. Let us know if there's a lag somewhere. Let us know what's going on. Want to thank everybody. Truett, what's up? Chuck Millsap, Alpha, Nomadic Brian, thanks for joining. Appreciate everyone here. And we're going to go through the first, 15 minutes or so talking about, our studs and duds of training camp so far. That'll be my recording. That'll be going to Newsbreak. And then after that, it'll just be kind of a free flow like we normally do, right? Get into the chat and all that kind of stuff. What up, Matt Stansberry? So if you want to use my donation buttons or something of that nature, please do it, but do it after I record. I would really appreciate that because I can't jump straight into it while I'm doing the recording for the actual news break session. So as I said, this is sponsored by Newsbreak. So let's go ahead and hit that, and then we'll get straight into what we're here to talk about. This video is sponsored by Newsbreak. Newsbreak is an app used over 1.5 billion times a month by people just like you to get local news via articles or videos by those who are focused on that specific area. People like myself. Just use the link in the description of this video to download it. Then search a city, state, or someone specific, like myself, Colts Law. Then make sure to follow them so you'll get all the news fresh as it comes out. I want to welcome everyone to Colts Law. I'm Lawrence Owen, and with me as usual is Colts Loyalist. As you can see, as Alpha Wolf has stated, and Nomadic Brian in the chat has mentioned on top, we are some sun-soaked guys that have been out to training camp and gotten plenty of sun. It is what it is. That is the price we pay to bring content to you. Today, what we're talking about is the studs and duds of training camp. Who has really exceeded expectations, or, we've expected that they would be really, really good, and they have been. And then those that have either went below expectations or we expected them to be performing poorly, and in fact, they are. Loyalist, your first offensive stud of this training camp so far for the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay. Well, I would like to point out somebody that, for me, was unexpected surprise, and that was Danny Penter. I mean, I've been watching him so closely, and I'll tell you what, because I was really worried, especially when we heard the Q information and Ryan Kelly getting hurt. I really wanted to pay close attention, and so did Danny. Danny has just really been in there just taking notes, and every time if he had a mistake, he'd fix it immediately on the next attempt. I was really impressed with that young man.
Awesome. See, I'm going to go right next door. All right. Now, I ended up stating this a little while ago. When it comes to the offensive line, hearing nothing is good news, right? If your name is called out and you're an offensive lineman, that means you're having issues. And to me, I have not heard anything from Mark Glowinski. Now, he's out there with the starters every rep, and yet I've not ever once said, Mark Glowinski got beat here, or Mark Glowinski, is having issues with the run game or the passing game, pass protection, something like. Not once have I said that. And you know what that means? That means Mark Glowinski is having himself a heck of a start to this training camp here in 2021. So shout out to both Pinter and Glowinski out there on the line. Loyalist, who's your big stud? Well, actually, let's go dud on the offensive line. Do you have a dud that you feel like has not met expectations or has performed as poor as you expected to on the offensive line?
On the offensive line, I really don't. I mean, Will Fries is, he's had some struggles out there, but I mean, I wasn't expecting him to come out, and have everything on lockdown. I guess I was a little surprised that, Hunt wasn't taking over that opportunity to be the center for the first team reps a lot more. But even there, I mean, it wasn't that I was as much disappointed with his performances. Once again, like I said, just really impressed with Danny and what he was doing.
Okay. I would say that Jake Eldencramp, yes, he's a backup. I understand that. But from what I have noticed, Jake Eldencramp is having serious issues getting any push in the run game. And that is kind of suffering. That's making the run game itself suffer, especially since he's an inside lineman. For instance, yesterday at training camp, they just weren't able to get any push up the gut, and the running game suffered dramatically from it. So that's a little bit. I understand that Eldencramp, like I said, is not a starter, but I was thinking, if anything, a backup offensive lineman, what you would expect from them is they would exceed in the run game and maybe kind of not be as potent in the pass protection area. But he just hasn't been very good in the run game. So that is my dud on the offensive line. Let's go to wide receiver, Loyalist. Is there a stud at wide receiver that you've noticed this training camp?
Well, for me, I was really curious to see the Desmond Patman, Michael Strawn, and I think Michael Strawn has performed much higher level than Desmond Patman. Now, that doesn't mean that he's not out there and messing things up and stuff. But here again, he's a rookie. I wasn't expecting to see a flawless performance. But the young man when he's out there, you can tell that he's locked in. He's given it 100%, and he's made some really spectacular catches.
Yes. You did mention, he is a very late round draft pick, so you can't expect him to be perfect all the time. He has had his share of drops, more than his share of drops. But at the same time, Strawn has went out there and made some very big flash plays, and I have noticed those myself. Really, obviously at wide receiver, a lot has gone into the Paris Campbell. I mean, that's an obvious answer. Paris Campbell has just been lighting it up in training camp. But Zach Pascal, he has quietly had a very, very good camp. And
I don't know about quietly. Some of them plays haven't been looking very quiet.
It was a very quiet camp until today, when the Indianapolis Colts started showing some of those plays that he was making, right? When he was showing where he was burning Kenny Moore, or where he was catching a really good throw by Jacob Eason over the middle and turning that basically into a touchdown. Zach Pascal has just performed every time his number has been called. And to me, I get he's fourth wide receiver on the depth chart. So he's performed better than two of those three guys, in my opinion. The only guy I don't think he's outperformed is Paris Campbell, but so far, I think he's outperformed T.Y. Hilton. I think he's outperformed Michael Pittman. And that's when it comes to getting your number called. And I'm not saying that T.Y. and Michael's had a bad camp. I'm just saying that I think that that Zach Pascal has really exceeded the expectations more than what we had from T.Y. and from Pittman.
Yeah, and that connection. But and it's not just with Eason. Eason and Pascal seem to have a real good connection. But even when Sam's out there slinging it, like you said, it's got to be amazing for these young talented quarterbacks to sit there and go out there and have a rock like Pascal is. It's sort of like back in the day when Peyton used to run these drills where nobody was dropping a pass. Zach's been that guy. He's been that guy that's been able to make the quarterbacks look a little impressive.
Yes, absolutely. I'll give you your choice, tight end or running back. No. Let's go back to the dud at wide receiver. We've talked about studs at wide receiver. Who's your dud at wide receiver so far this camp?
Okay. Everybody's going to hate this one. All right. And it's not that he's a dud for me. I just was hoping to see a lot more from Ty. I mean, I know he's been going out there. He's just not been in as many reps as I'd expected to see, or hope to see, I guess would be a better way to put it. And I understand a lot of this is because of him being the veteran and not needing nearly the reps. But every time Ty's on the field, I mean, all the kids, everybody that's there is always watching him. And I just was really hoping to see, I guess, a little bit more on the explosive side, some of those long passes. But he just doesn't seem that Ty's been connecting like the younger receivers have this last week and a half or so.
My dud so far is DeMichael Harris. I had a lot of high hopes for him. He had some snaps during season last year, showed a lot of good stuff. He's had some drops, and not enough positive plays from him to really counteract those drops the way Strawn has. And to me, if you're going to have situations where you're going to drop the ball, you better flash somewhere else something spectacular. And he just hasn't done that so far this camp. Now, let's move on to the studs. I'm going to give it to you. You can have running back or tight end. One or the other. I will take the other one, whichever one you don't take.
Yeah, I think all the tight ends have been studs. No, honestly, I mean, the tight ends have just, I mean, I feel like they've just really performed. I mean, even the rookie Granson's gone out there and flashed. And the thing was he's not really had any of them big mistakes that you've seen, out of Fries and some of the other young guys. You know what I mean? I mean, Granson just comes in and he just seems like he's a second or third year veteran. And then just to sit there and watch his speed and stuff. But for me, it's Doyle. I feel like, and I know I've heard multiple reports where Doyle's underwhelming, and I don't understand that at all. I've gone 4 days, 5 days, and every day Jack has performed either good or exceptional every day.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you on the Jack Doyle thing. I think Doyle has been far and away the best tight end that we've had out there. And not just, stating that as, well, maybe our tight ends ain't very good. I would put Jack Doyle up against some of the top 10 tight ends in the NFL the way I have seen him practice so far this training camp. Since you took tight ends, I'm going to go with the running backs. And I'll tell you what, it's not that Jonathan Taylor hasn't, done well. He's done well. He just hasn't exceeded expectations, in my opinion, except on one play. One play, he had a very fantastic play. Naheem Hines came back to practice yesterday and looked pretty good, especially in the punt return. He returned one for 45 yards. But the story has got to be Marlon Mack. I mean, he has so exceeded expectations all across the board. Not only his running ability, but his receiving ability, his decision-making, his confidence, how he moves in and around through traffic, what he does to help the quarterback. I mean, Marlon Mack has just been far and away the best running back that we have seen out there today. A dud that you have noticed on either tight ends or running backs, or have you seen a dud?
See, and that's why I was sitting here thinking, I was like, man, he's going to ask me. And aside from a few drops from JT in the passing game, the running backs have been spectacular. I mean, even Wilkins is out there representing himself real well. And then, like I said, as far as the tight ends, I mean, once you get past the top three, I don't pay quite as much close attention because, like I said, I've really been interested in Granson, and I haven't seen him, falter. So I would have to say there's not a whole lot of duds in those two categories for me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna throw a dud out there. I like what I see from all the tight ends, including Mo Alley Cox. We don't mention him enough. And we should, because he's a monster out there. When he's out on the field, he's probably the biggest dude out there on offense, And then, as you talked about Granson, with the running backs. Now, one, I will say, I don't see a whole lot out of Jordan Wilkins. I'm not seeing a lot out of him. And to me, when you're a running back, you need to see something for it to fly. It's not like an offensive lineman. You need to call his name out. And in a positive way for him to hit that. And I just haven't seen that out of Jordan Wilkins yet this camp. I remember in 2019, Jordan Wilkins blew me away by the way he was practicing, and I have not seen that in the 2021 NFL preseason training camp. But, it's still early, and that's our offense, because I'm not going to go to quarterbacks because, honestly, we can, but really, you pick either stud or dud. Or do you think any of the quarterbacks that we have even reach stud or dud status?
Yeah, and for me, it's just too early. I don't want to put a label because I know it, especially with the quarterbacks, everybody's willing to jump on it right away. And they're both young. They both have flashed at separate times. And when I say both, I'm talking about Sam Ehlinger and Jacob Eason. They've both flashed. I think Hunley, has come in and, I really didn't know much about him. But, like I said, nobody has really overly impressed me. But the thing is for what I was expecting to see there, I think we're getting every bit of what we should expect, or what I was going in expecting to see from the quarterbacks. So, yeah, that's how I would probably classify that.
Going into special teams before we go on the defense, do you have a stud or a dud that's a special teamer so far?
George Odom, I've seen him go down there, but you expect that from him, but he has gone and flashed a few times. There hasn't been a lot of special teams on the days that I've gone. They run about 10 to 12 plays, and that's about the extent of it. So I really haven't seen much as far as that goes.
Yeah, George Odom made a heck of a play yesterday, actually, in punt coverage. And it's because of that play is why I've got to drop. Yesterday, they did a lot of special teams, especially punting and punt returns. And Sanchez, the punter, is on his money right now. Oh, my goodness. He punted the ball 10 times yesterday. 10 out of 10 dropped between the 5 and the goal line, where it dropped. Now, I'm not saying that's where the ball ended, but that's where the ball hit, between the 5 and end zone. None of them hit inside the end zone. None of them hit beyond the 5-yard line. All of them dropped right there. One of them dropped and then dead stopped and rolled to the goal line where George Odom was just standing there with his feet on the goal line and stopped it at like the 1-inch line. I was like, are you kidding me? So, yeah, we already knew Sanchez was a very good punter, but he's a stud to me because if you drop 10 out of 10 punts inside the 5-yard line, that's just studly, and that's all there is to it, because that's field position win right there. Field position win every time.
Yeah, that helped us win a couple games last year, if you remember correctly.
Absolutely. And there's no knock to Goggles out there, right? Specs.
Right.
He is out there kicking field goals from the 45-yard line and nailing them over and over and over. He's not missing anything. And so, but I just think Sanchez has really outperformed what we know he can do already. That was good. Defensive. We're going to cut this a little short here on News Break. We're going to go one stud and one dud on defense, and I'm going to let you pick. Is it a stud or a dud?
Well, the dud is the one that's most surprising and concerning to me. So, Al-Qadim Muhammad, I really thought he was going to come out and flash and really take this opportunity to elevate himself. And I really just haven't seen him, even against the seconds. I just haven't seen him in the backfield. The defensive line's been making it in from all angles. But, yeah, in turn, like I said, he's never the first guy there. I just haven't seen anything that made me say, okay, I can see this guy making the rotation.
That's good. That's good information for a lot of people. I think a lot of people didn't expect to hear Al-Qadim Muhammad's name mentioned, actually. I'm going to go along that line as well, only not the defensive line. I'm going to take a step back, all right? I'm going to take a step back to the linebackers. And in base formation, I just got myself a super chat, and I will get to that in just a moment by Ross. at the linebacker position, a lot of people have been talking about Bobby Okereke, and yes, but we all were hoping and expecting some good play from Bobby Okereke. What I am very impressed with is EJ Speed. EJ Speed has been out there performing that Sam linebacker position incredibly well. And I am very happy to see that, because we all wondered who was going to step in and become that Sam now that Bobby Okereke is taking the mic at full time. So that's it for News Break and our Studs and Duds. Please, if you enjoyed this, please give us a follow and go check us out on YouTube. Until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen, and that's Loyalist over there. Have a good one. And then that is the end of my news break session, and I can get to Ross's super chat. Ross, I was in the middle of recording, but you weren't here when I mentioned it, but it's all good. Thank you, Ross, for the $5 super chat. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to support this channel, there are multiple ways you could do it, and I will get to that right after I see what in the world he actually had to say here. Whoops. That is not supposed to happen that way. So my mouse is doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff, and I apologize for that. Let me go look at what Ross said, because my mouse is double clicking a lot. Sup, boys? Football is back. Who are you guys taking in the Steelers-Cowboys preseason game? Also, are you enjoying Carson Wentz's retirement conspiracy? Okay. Let's get to the second part, retirement conspiracy. All right, because that's kind of funny. All right, that's a little bit on the funny side. I don't know why I've got some crazy stuff going on in the background here on my chat. Everything is moved wrong. Let me get this set up. There we go. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. For some reason, my mouse is acting all kinds of crazy funny, man. It's double clicking and dragging and stuff like that. That's nuts. Retirement conspiracy. Do you think that he's gonna? They're saying that he's gonna retire, like the Andrew Luck thing from a couple years ago.
Yeah, I don't think that's even a possibility right now. I think if that was to happen, he might as well just find another country to live in between us and the Philly fans.
Right? Ain't that the truth? Especially after Frank Reich went out to bat and said he is our quarterback right now, period. Even after the injury, he's like, we're not going out and getting someone new. We're not going out and getting another vet. He is our quarterback. We're going to see what Jacob Eason can do. We're going to ride with Eason until Wentz gets back. That came straight out of Frank Reich's mouth. Now, Steelers versus Cowboys. Who you got in that game?
Unfortunately, I don't even care to make a comment, because I'm sort of a negative against both teams. But I would just say, just out of pure talent and stuff and the better quarterback, I think Dallas should probably, from what I've seen 2 years ago with Dak and stuff, I just think Dallas got a better running game, better offensive line, so I'd have to choose Dallas.
The only reason I'm going to choose Dallas is because the Steelers, Dallas got most of their offensive line back. They're somewhat healthy, so don't think about this Dallas team with the same offensive line as last year. The Steelers, on the other hand, had a lot of questions at offensive line, and that's a problem. I'm going to pick Dallas, but I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a really, really fun game to watch. So I'm sorry, Joe Thornburg. I don't know if you're in here. Yes, you are. I see you now. Ross, don't be a jag. I'm sorry, Joe. I am going to pick Dallas, but I think it's going to be a really, really close game. And I know you hate the Cowboys. I know you hate them. But I'm just giving my personal opinion here. All right. If Pittsburgh wins, it's all right with me too, because, we don't play Pittsburgh this year. But thanks again for the super chat, Ross. It's much, much appreciated. Guys, if you want to support the Colts Law channel here, support myself, support Loyalist, smash that like button. That's the free, simple, easy way of doing it right now. All 23 of you right now that are in the chat, smash that like button. I really, really would appreciate that. Another easy way of supporting us is sharing, right? That little share button right below Loyalist. Click that, copy the link, share it to your Twitter, your Facebook, whatever social media. And then, of course, there's links right there in the description. You want to do a super chat, you want to make sure that your comment is posted up here and we answer a question or whatnot. Click that link, use that super chat button instead of the YouTube super chat, because YouTube takes 65%. The super chat link that I have down there, just like Matt Stansberry just used, right? Drop $5 for me. Appreciate you, my guy. And he uses that in retrospect to say, screw your mouse. Now the screen is upside down and the audio channels are translated into German. What the? And I'm not going to finish what he said after that. Thanks for the donation. It's very simple and easy, and you can see that it still pops up right here on my channel because of, the platform that I use to get this out. So I really appreciate that. There's also a link down there where you could support us financially for free. For free. There's a link to News Breakdown there where we are on. We even recorded a 15-minute session for Newsbreak from this thing, from what we're doing right now. All you got to do is click that link, download the free app, and give us a follow at Colts Law, and we get paid for it. That is so awesome. Thank you for your support. Now, Loyalist, is there any more studs or duds on defense? Because we killed that a little early, and defense is a massive thing, okay? There's linebackers, cornerback, safeties, blah, blah. Who's another stud that you saw on defense so far this training camp?
I've mentioned this a few times, and here again, I feel like I'm alone in this battle sometimes. But I feel like Isaac Rochelle. I mean, I feel like he's been in the backfield just as consistently as, Toure or, Quiddy on some of these plays and stuff. I've been pleasantly surprised with the way he's come out and represented himself. I mean, this dude's fast. He's got a motor on him. He doesn't let up. I mean, even whenever he's engaged, you can see him going to a second move and a third move, and until he gets the job done. And I'm just very pleased that Ballard brought him in because I can see him being an important piece for us.
I'm going to talk about a dud. It seems like that's all I'm talking about is duds, but I'm going to talk about a dud, and it hurts me deeply to say this because I am a big Khari Willis fan, okay? But he's been getting burnt in the passing game badly. You've seen the pass over the middle to Pascal. If you haven't, go check out Twitter on Colts. Had he reached out and reacted just a split second faster, he might have been able to got a hand or a finger or something on that ball and made that an incomplete pass. Or no, that was Blackman that happened. But Khari was in there as well. I've seen Khari get turned around. As a matter of fact, I watched Khari Willis get turned around by Paris Campbell. Now, I understand Paris Campbell's a beast, but he put Khari Willis on skates. It was awful. He got turned around completely. Looked like he didn't even know what side of the field he was on by the time Paris Campbell was done making his double move cut on him. So it is what it is, I'm sure it's still early training camp. I'm sure he's going to pick it up and become better and back to the Khari Willis that I know and love. So, that I got to call what I see. And I hate saying it, but I got to call what I see and be honest with myself and with you guys. Mark Pat says, is Paris burning everyone or just him? Because Khari's been a stud the last 2 years. And it's true. It's true. And that's why it's hard for me to say that. But again, Paris is burning everybody. Paris looks uncoverable out there this first week. And that is not me overblowing or saying that. I'm saying Paris Campbell looks like a mix between third-year T.Y. Hilton and Reggie Wayne. Okay? That's what I'm seeing out of Paris Campbell this training camp so far. But for the most part, Paris Campbell, it's been Paris Campbell without pads. So, when you got track star speed and his ability to stop and start and go, and change directions and change his speeds the way he's able to, it's really difficult to cover someone like that. I'm going to get into the chat because I see there is a lot of chat in here, and I haven't gotten to any of them other than like 2 or 3. The 2 super chats, obviously. What up, Dabney? I see you're in here. Thanks so much for coming in. Appreciate you so much. There's Joe. I know I saw him. I just want to see what Haskins is capable of. There you go. Hopefully he's capable of more than what we saw down there in Washington. Yeah. Matt Stansberry's in here as well. Kayvon Jackstar's in here. Yep. Appreciate you. King Cato, do you need a laugh? I hope that means a laugh because he says, do you need ha-ha? And no, I don't want ha-ha Clinton Dix, if that's what you're talking about. No. And if you're asking if we need ha-ha Clinton Dix, then that is a ha-ha laughing moment, in my opinion. McChicken Vlogs, what up? Appreciate you. If you all need a 6 foot, 200 pound guard, I'm happy to fill in. Left side is my dominant side. That's pretty.
I think you have a heck of a time trying to beat out Chris Reed.
Yeah. 200 pound versus 300 pound. That's the difference there, right? I'm worried Mo is going to be the dud. Nomadic Brian steps up. I don't see. Yeah, he's not a dud. He hasn't been as flashy as what Doyle has been, right? Doyle has absolutely stood out in camp. And you're saying that you've seen reports where he hasn't been, that he's been underwhelming, and I think that is an absolute... If that's a fact, then these guys need to go back and have their heads examined, right? I mean, I got some new some names in here I haven't really said too many times in my life. Adam Bauer, I assume that's how you pronounce that last name. It's hard to gauge running backs in preseason practice IMO. And it is, especially when there's no pads. But now that there's pads on, you can gauge them a lot more because they're allowed to hit. All right. The Colts actually practice live tackling. Okay, that's the one thing when they have pads on. Now it's not quite yet. They'll have more once they get a little closer to preseason is when they'll start doing the live tackling thing. But you can see by how a person moves. That's why Marlon Mack was just amazing because his start and stop and cutting ability is on the money. And
with him coming on off the Achilles, that was a real big thing. We were just interested to see how all that played out. And like Lawrence has said, I'm telling you guys, he doesn't look any different physically, whether it's, with the ball, without the ball. I mean, engaged, not engaged. Mac just looks like he's 2019 Mac. And if that is the fact, it's going to be a good year to watch them guys work.
22 says undrafted free agent number 7 he believes is a sleeper. Who's number 7?
Is that the wide receiver out of USC?
I don't know. He must be a sleeper because I don't know who he is. I was thinking of running or quarterbacks, but number 6 is Morton. So, yeah. And Morton's quietly had a pretty darn good training camp for being an undrafted free agent. So, just FYI, in case you guys didn't know that.
Did you hear him say the other day that he can throw a football 100 yards? And I hope we get to see that, because he was one of the guys that interviewed him. He's like, yeah, no, he goes, I can throw it 100 yards with one step. And I was like, I've seen he's got a strong arm. I don't know about 100 yards, but he's got a strong arm.
I saw in college he threw at 80.
Wow.
So yeah, he's got a cannon on him.
Nowhere on the field is safe for these guys nowadays.
Between him and Eason, nowhere. Because I watched Eason throw at 60 flat-footed, you know. So and I'm sure if he could take a step, there's another 10, 20 yards right there, you know. But 22 twos, thanks for being in here. I appreciate you being in here. Thanks so much. Black? Is that it? I guess his last name is Black.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
Tariq Black. Is it Tariq, I think? Or...
Maybe. See, he hasn't really stood out big time for me, you know.
Yeah.
So, when the twos and threes are on the field, I'm more looking at the defensive lines than I am anything else. Just to see who's really standing out, you know, and that's where we have like number 52 flashing right on the twos and threes. Banagou's not getting any starting reps with the starters. He's playing with the backups, and I'd love to see him. I mean, he's flashing with them, but a lot of these guys ain't going to be on the team soon, you know, in August. So if he's flashing there, move him up, see what we got with him against the, you know, starters. And they haven't done that yet. Now, maybe they doing it, you know, this week. Maybe you'll see that, you know, they're dropping him in there on Friday and Saturday. But I haven't seen it myself.
Definitely be looking for him now a little bit closer. So thank you.
Yeah. Nomadic Brian, Sanchez is a stud. Well, yes, he is. He's definitely not a dud. Defense going to be good enough to get us to 3 or 2 or better in the 5-game start, regardless of our O-line and quarterback. And that's a question mark by MTS. Do you think our defense is good enough to get us through quarterback and O-line issues?
See, I mean, the O-line issues, that's a huge ask. I mean, you know, if it's Eason, he's not as mobile, you know, then also if, you know, that slows down our running game. I think 2 and 3 is feasible, but 3 and 2, just for me, I feel like that's, you know, that's one away.
Yeah, I'm going to agree there. I love the optimism, Matt. Love the optimism. But, I mean, if we go by, if anything like what I saw yesterday has anything to do with it, we had no run game. The longest run of the entire day was 7 yards. Okay? And, I mean, he got wrapped up quick. You know, it wasn't there. The pass protection was there, though. Eason, all the quarterbacks looked pretty decent yesterday. Eason looked amazing. Eason was just flinging the ball all over the place, going through progressions, everything. I don't have a problem with seeing. I really can't wait until the Carolina game because I want to see him against another, you know, straight up starter defense. You know, but if we can't run the football because the O-line's not able to get holes broken open, then that's going to make the quarterback situation that much worse. You know, because if you can't run it, then they don't ever have to sit here and be honest with the run. They can go after the quarterback every stinking down. So we got to get that running game established. We got to get that offensive line figured out. That's just my thought. Getting in here. Speed over Franklin. McChicken blogs. Yes, EJ Speed has been absolutely studly over Zaire Franklin. EJ Speed has been out there just playing really, really good football. Huh?
He was playing good at the will. I mean, he's
Yeah.
been getting a lot of reps at the will
He's getting
with Darius
Will.
being out and
Yeah.
stuff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So I think EJ Speed has been absolutely studly out there, from what I'm seeing, and he could play either position. I think he could play Will or Sam. I don't think he's got what it takes to be a Mike though, but I think he could play Will or Sam. Flipping down through here, stirring the pot. Uh, uh, yeah, they're talking about stuff that I shouldn't be talking about. Uh, yeah, Nick Foles ain't coming to town.
No.
Nick Foles ain't coming.
No, and I'll tell you right now, talk about an awkward spot. But I thought Coach Reich took care of that about as, I mean, and it's no surprise, but I mean, he took care of an awkward situation about as wonderfully as he could. You know, I mean, I was impressed because for me, whoever asked Foles that question, that was a weird spot to put him in the first place, and then to turn around and listen to the answer, it was like, you know, no knock on Foles, but it just had a bit of desperation to it. You know what I mean? And I hate the fact that they put. Why are they even asking what the third string quarterback? You know, I mean, why are they even interviewing him unless they're? I heard somebody say that they were trying to get rid of him, so they were just trying to get Nick to talk to Coach about it.
Yeah, it is. It's what it's all about. Company Eagles, what's up in the house? Sean P13, what's up? Appreciate you being here. Mark Patton. Hey, fellas, are they playing starters at all? It's only 3 preseason games this year, right? Absolutely, they're going to be. They said that Eason will probably play the first half, is what Reich was talking. He's going to get extended playing time during preseason games. And they'll play their starters, even with only 3 preseason games. They'll play their starters, not a lot, but some. Because 3 preseason games is plenty to see what you got from your rookies and guys that haven't been in with the team. It's plenty of time.
Yeah.
I think yeah, three is about dead on. Official Reich 1, Strawn for the 5th wide receiver spot. It's possible if they really buy in to his upside, right? I mean, that's my thought. If they buy into his upside, but he's really got to fix these drop issues that he's had. You can't miss him on the field though. When he's out running routes, he towers over all the corners and defensive backs, straight up. All right, and he's got some pretty darn good quickness for his size. So he's got all the tools, physical tools. He's got to work on, his hands. He's also got to work a little bit on his route running, because most of the stuff that he flashes on is just a straight 6 right down the line, right? I mean, you don't see a lot of cuts and wiggle with him, and I'd like to see a little bit more cuts and wiggle. Calvin kind of reminds me of Calvin Johnson's size type, big physical type kind of wide receiver, but Calvin could move and he had heck of a hands, whereas that's some things that I'm missing out of Strawn that I'm seeing right now. Patman wants to know how Blackman's looking. I'll leave that up to you for the times you've seen him.
Yeah, Blackman is, I would say he's looked okay. Like I said, the first few days and stuff, we didn't see a lot of the deep passes. And then now, last couple days, I know they've been airing it out a little more. And as far as that goes, I couldn't answer because didn't have the pleasure of being there. But earlier in the week and stuff, he definitely looked like he was up to speed, being in the right spot. I didn't see a lot of communication breakdowns between him and Kari, so that was nice. Seeing him get torched once by Michael Pittman, I think it was. Seeing him, put a nice little speed move on him and stuff, which was like, oh, okay, that surprised me. But it's just like he came in and he bit early, and then Michael just turned it upfield, and it was like, oh, wow. And then unfortunately he got missed by Hundley. But, He still got open on him.
Yeah, yeah. Somehow I missed John Davis, and I don't know how I missed his name here in the chat. Appreciate you being in here, my guy. One of my OGs. Just like Ant Rogers. I don't know if he's in here or not, but I haven't got that. Usually he don't show up till later. Scrolling down through here. I don't know anything about HaHa trying out. Did HaHa Clinton Dix try out?
Not that I'm aware of, but I haven't, like I said, I didn't see or hear anything about it.
He might have tried out, but I don't. HaHa had a couple decent seasons, but I think he might be trying out because we haven't seen our rookie, right? We haven't seen our rookie safety yet, and I don't know what the info is about him. So, Sean Davis,
Yeah.
not the Sean Davis from that we picked up from Pittsburgh, but the rookie Sean
From Florida.
Davis. Yeah, from Florida.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find where I'm at here. Ah, there we are. Does Campbell look like a healthy horse? I mean, that his injury doesn't show impact? No. Campbell's not showing any signs that he has ever been hurt. Paris Campbell looks like a rocket coming out of a cannon. I mean, it is ridiculous how fast he looks. And it's not just that either. He's putting moves on people. He's making some good corners look really bad. Okay? I'm telling you. He's been out there doing some really good stuff. It's scary. I missed the last statement. I have to be honest with you. Who was that referring to? Which Colts players? When I got to be honest with you, that was Corey Willis not doing too well.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I love Corey Willis, and he just has it. I mean, I'm not saying he's been bad. I'm just saying that he's not playing to the level that I have seen in the past. And I don't know. I mean, it legitimately just could be the fact that our offense is better. Our wide receivers and running backs is better than what everybody else is taking into consideration. Because the Colts don't have a number one wide receiver. It's such a stupid statement. Because the Colts relied heavily on the run last year, and Rivers is the kind of guy that just shares the ball with everybody. The Colts didn't have a number one wide receiver. I hate that when people say that. It's dumb. I'm sorry if you said it. I don't like it because I think the Colts have wide receivers. I think they have some really studly wide receivers. I thought that before training camp. I was like, if Paris comes back from that injury and looks halfway decent, he could lead the Colts in receiving yards this year. If he stays healthy.
Yeah, and just like Chris Ballard said, I really do believe that we've got a couple guys out here that could be your top tier type of wide receivers. I mean, just give them a year or two or three, and I can see this, forming rather nicely for us.
Mm-hmm. Mark Patton, what's up? He says, so his pay look like an upgrade from Houston or about the same? Now, I'm going to give that start to Loyalist and see where he takes it.
Okay. I would say yes and no, and let me expound on it. I think Pay is quicker off the line. I think Pay has much more bend than Justin has or had when, last year at least. But to sit there and say that he's an upgrade because he doesn't have a lot of secondary moves, he's got this real low center of gravity like Justin had, but I just think the strength is a little bit underdeveloped for him right now compared to a Justin Houston. And then, like I said, once he gets locked up, I just haven't seen him breaking away from too many people. So if he doesn't beat them early, I see him getting sort of absorbed by the line.
Yeah, that's the thing that we talked about too. His counter moves. His if he gets grabbed right off the bat, he has no counter moves so far, and we haven't seen it in camp. He could blow you off that line, just the same way Teray can blow you off that line. But there's also times Teray has some counter moves. Quiddy has yet to show those, and that's a problem. Now Quiddy's got power too. He's got more power than what Teray has. So he is built a lot more like Houston, right? Quiddy is. And I think that, it's his rookie year, right? He's had 1 week of practice in his rookie season. Come on. We got to give him a little bit of time to develop. We still got 5-6 weeks before the season starts. Quiddy should develop a few of these counter moves by then.
And another disclaimer I'd like to put out there is when Quiddy's out there practicing, guys, he's being given a set of instructions to try to work on a move or whatever, and he sticks with that move. He keeps continuing to try to improve on that move. It's not like he's going, okay, let me reach into my toolbox. So us saying that we don't see that secondary move, that could just be simply Coach Baker telling him, look, this is what I want you to work on. You know what I mean? And having at it, because I sat there and watched Quiddy go through a rep. Normally it's 2 reps and then they swap them out. But he went through 4 separate reps, and he just kept going to the same move, kept going to the same move. I was like, okay, try something different. But then after he got done and stuff, there was nobody happier to see it than Coach Baker. He was all, fist bumping them and everything else. And I was like, okay. So obviously that's what the coaching staff's wanting. And unfortunately they aren't at training camps for for them to meet our needs.
Well, yeah, that's another thing that a lot of your reporters out here, that they're not putting context in with their report, right? When they talk about stuff like that, when they talk about the quarterbacks and how they did that day, they're not putting in the context of exactly what they were working on and what they were told to do. Maybe they were told, don't throw the football, hold on to it for at least 5 seconds, and then do a tilt-a-twirl, jump up and down 3 times, and say there's no place like home. If the coach tells you to do that, that's what you got to do. And then the reporter's like, dude looks like he's having a seizure out there. We don't have context. So, so we got to remember that. Hey, Toxic Tommy, what's up there? He says he's out there eating St. Elmo's shrimp cocktail sauce. Now, I've heard a lot of positive stuff about St. Elmo's. Like, people say it's like world famous and great. I can't eat it. I'm allergic to shellfish. So, I like cocktail sauce.
then you got to try. I'm allergic to seafood as well. I'm telling you right now, get their cocktail sauce, okay?
And have it with like some fish or something?
Or fries, just anything. Because I'm telling you right now, their cocktail sauce, it's a meal in itself. But I will tell you, have some bread because it's got a little bit of pep to it.
Okay. Yeah, see, I can have like regular. I can't have ground dwelling fish, like catfish or something. Or catfish out of the river I could have, but out of the sea I can't. The bottom dwellers, I can't have any bottom dwellers because of the mercury. I guess that's in those things. I'm like highly allergic to it. Like, I don't know. I think that has something to do with it. I'm not 100% sure. I just know that every time I eat shellfish, my throat swells up and I can't breathe, and I have to go and take some Benadryl or something and hope like I could swallow it because I'm scared of needles and I won't take a shot.
Have your own hitch episode going on.
Right. Yeah, exactly. All right. Hey, we're 55 minutes in, and it don't feel like 55 minutes, man. Does it feel like 55 minutes to you?
I was sitting there thinking that, and then I'm like, well, I'm not dragging tired because I'm telling you guys, you go out there and you're watching these football players and stuff, and that sun's beating down on you. It just sucks the energy out of you. And it's like, okay, then you sit there and you drive home. For me, it's almost an hour and 45 minutes to get home, and then it just takes a minute to recover. So today we got to recharge. All I had to do is pick up my son from school, and that was my big heavy day today.
All right, Alpha says, I don't know if it's been mentioned today, but you've seen the eyes on the clone, Sean Davis. I've already mentioned that we have not seen the rookie Sean Davis yet at all at camp. We have seen a little bit of Sean Davis from Pittsburgh out there, running with the 2s and 3s, okay? And I seen him make a couple plays overall, but not a lot. Okay, but then again, to be fair, when it comes to the 2s and 3s, usually it ends up being a battle of the lines, of the trenches, and there's not a lot of deep shots being thrown. And generally, the safeties are there to prevent the deep shots. So,
I'll tell you what, guys, if you were part of the Patreon or you go through and check it out today, because Lawrence released it today. But we did a Patreon last night, and we had Joe in here, who's a Pittsburgh fan, and he gave us a lot of nice little insights as to what Sean Davis from Pittsburgh offers. And I mean, it sounds good to me.
Yep. That's it, man. That's why we have Patreon, and that's it's the beautiful thing about Patreon. Don't forget, man, it's $5 a month. The link's in the description, all the way at the bottom of the description. Okay, I don't know why I put it there, but that I do. All right. But every time we go to training camp, we go check that stuff out, and that drains us because we do the training camp, then we come home, and then I got a whole bunch of editing to do with the content that I got from there, and then we go live and talk to our patrons about what we saw that day. And by the time we're done and over with, we're just beat. All right. Today we didn't have to do that, and I'm feeling like really, really good. Frankly, but yeah, $5 a month. Go check out our Patreon. Every time we go to camp, we do a Patreon that night. I put in a Patreon. I message every patron, and I let them know the link where they can watch and the link where they can actually join the show and come in and talk with us. Ross has done it. Joe Thornburg's done it. They both were on one. Just what? I think it was Saturdays. So, yeah, it's really fun. We talk about not just football. We'll talk about anything that you want to talk about. Patman asks, who's looked better, Patman or Strawn? And I'm assuming that means Strawn. He says a 7th rounder that we picked up. I'm assuming that'd be Strawn that he's talking about. And it's been Strawn hands down, even with his drops.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Patman, I think, I can only recall of one play that it jumped out and I was like, oh, okay, and that was a nice little crossing route. But Strawn, I can honestly say, not just because of his freakish size, but I mean, he's also stepped up and looked good multiple times.
Yeah. Matt Stansberry says, mainstream has been selling Banagoo big time, and yet they don't mention that the only snaps he's had is 2nd and 3rd stringers. Yes, he's had a lot of sacks against 2nd and 3rd stringers. Let's see him against the ones. I want to see him against the ones. I mean, it's like they're sitting there talking about Ellinger. Well, Ellinger's having a good day. Ellinger's with the 2s and 3s. Eason's with the 1s. Okay, Eason has a better day with the 1s than Ellinger has had with the 2s and 3s. And yet they still want to bring up the Ellinger is looking good. And I'm like, well, let's see him with the 1s. Let's see how he does with some real pressure in his face. Let's see how he does with having to throw into really, really tight windows because, you got Kenny Moore and them, covering. I mean, there's context. And they don't bring context into their reports, and they need to. I'll bring it in. I'll let you know.
And definitely. And it's not like Sam's been out there, laying stinkers on the field or anything. I mean, he has definitely been progressing and stuff. But, yeah, to sit there and hear statements like, Ellinger's outperforming Eason, and I'm like, no, he's not. And then they sit there and say, well, he caught a bigger percent. I don't care.
Yeah.
Ellinger's putting the ball in the right spots. Whether they're turning into receptions all the time right now, I don't care. As long as he's doing his part to get it there. We know that Ty and Harris Campbell and the tight ends and everybody else, they're going to make those catches during the regular season.
22-2 says that you'll see you keep sleeping on Black. I'm not sleeping on him, I'm just not seeing him. Whenever a player makes a play, I immediately go to my roster on my sheet and I look to see who that is, and I don't remember really coming up with that name very often. So when he starts making some plays, I will notice and I will recognize. Okay. Chuck Millsap has a really good question that I'm going to throw at you. Regardless of position, king of duds.
Regardless of position.
The king of the duds so far this training camp.
Okay. I didn't know what to... man, there's two guys that jumped to mind. I'll do one for each. One for offense and one for defense. Is that fair? All right.
That's fair.
For me, I wasn't sure what to expect from Tevy, and I've not really cared a whole lot of what I've seen from Tevy. I mean, there's been a few, but if this guy is the guy that we're going to need to get us through 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever, that concerns me. I'm much more pleased with Holden and how he's performed. And then on the defensive side, like I said earlier, Al-Qadim Muhammad, I really thought that he would take this opportunity and just maximize it, because, this is a big year for him, and I just don't see it. And that's the thing. Even whenever I'm going out of my way to look for him, I'm not seeing him. He's just disappearing on the field.
Yeah.
So those are probably my two biggest disappointments for the training camp.
I'm going to try to say this with a straight face as I possibly can. The king of duds has been Malik Hooker. I ain't seen him anywhere. Mm-hmm. Sorry. I like what you said there. I like both. But like I said, to me, the king of duds on offensive so far has and I hate saying it, it's Jordan Wilkins. And I love what Jordan Wilkins has brought in the past, but to me, Jordan Wilkins just has been really underwhelming this camp so far. But it's early, so we'll see. Excuse me. Will Eason start game 1? Brian says yes. If Wentz is not ready, I think Eason will start.
And even if he recovers from the surgery, I can't see him being ready, week 1.
There we go. I turned my mic off and then it double clicked it, so it turned it off and then back on, or on then back off. You know that whole double click thing. It sucks. But anyhow, yeah, Eason's had all the time with the practice and the coaching and the everything. Wentz has had 2 days, and then he's going to have all that time away. So even when he comes back, I think Eason starts week 1, unless Wentz comes back 3 weeks before the game 1. Then I think Wentz might have a shot at starting. But I think Eason, other than a situation like that, I think Eason ends up being the starter against Seattle.
Yeah, when you talked to Joel yesterday and stuff, did he mention to you, if, I know that these guys can get back on the field after the stitches heal and stuff, but how did he say what the limitations would be, for early on when these guys, whether it's Quentin or Carson coming back?
Oh, he was talking about how it was such a clean surgery on both of them, on both Nelson and Wentz. Guys, if you ain't seen it, go check out that interview. I've got it on there on my page. Go check it out. It's only like 15 minutes, okay, of your time, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of good information out there. I think it's the August 4th training camp review with Joel Erickson. I believe is the title of it. But he was talking about how Both surgeries were incredibly clean. There was no external damage outside of, that bone floating around. That bone didn't go around and damage anything else, which is why, no complications. And he was talking about they can practice with the pain in their foot, depending upon their own pain management, how they handle it. If they feel like they could get out there and step around and do stuff, then they're going to be allowed to do that. So they might come out earlier than expected. But that's also why they're talking about why they think that it's going to be closer to week 5 than it's going to be to like week 12, when they come out. That they're really optimistic for honest reasons on why they believe that this will be a much faster heal rate than the back end would say so. So, yeah, I guess it's all about their own pain levels. What they can tolerate is when they're going to be able to get out there and do that. I hope I answered that question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Guys, 40 of you, what up? And we're an hour and some in. Please smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, tag that notification bell so that you are notified next time I go live or upload a video. Make sure all notifications are turned on because you know how YouTube is. Stupid, crazy people. All right. Don't forget, throw some questions or your comments in the chat if you want to make sure that we get to your question or comment, because I am kind of flipping through here because the chat is moving fast. You can use that donation link right down here where it says Super Chat in the description. I'd rather that than anywhere else. Oh, hey, while I'm here, and we're an hour and 6 minutes in it, don't forget, there's also a link to my merch shop. I haven't hit this button in a while. Make sure to check out the Colts Law merch shop. The link is in the description of this video. There are a ton of high quality, reasonably priced items there that you can choose from. All you got to do is just click one button and you can go and check out all these great merchandise items. Hey, I want to bring up something. And I think it's funnier than heck. But I want to bring it up. Has nothing to do with the Colts. Well, kind of off to the side has something to do with the Colts, but not directly. There's rumors out there that the Philadelphia Eagles are doing everything they can to trade for Deshaun Watson. This coming from an organization that said we don't need Wentz. We're going to go with Jalen Hurts. We like what we got with Jalen Hurts. Now, they would rather go for a guy and go all in for a guy that may or may not be allowed to play this year than start Jalen Hurts. I mean, that's what I'm reading into it. Now, don't get me wrong. If Watson can play, he is far and away better. There's only maybe 3 teams out there that if Watson wasn't on their team and allowed to play, that he would not be their starter. Maybe 3. Kansas City, Buffalo, and probably Green Bay. I mean, I would put him over Russell Wilson, in all honesty. I love Russell Wilson. I think I'm a Colts fan, an Andrew Luck lover, but I'm not going to deny Russell Wilson plays really good football, Right. But I'd still rather have Deshaun Watson. Okay.
Hey, you'll get to see him this year too. That's cool.
Yes, I will. Special shout out, thank you, by the way. This video and all my videos, all the way up to week 1, is sponsored by Colts Beat. Okay, podcast. So if you don't know Colts Beat podcast, go check them out. All right, because I'm going to week 1 against Seattle because of one of their guys out there, and I'm going to have to bring it up because I don't remember his specific name. It's off the top of my head. I'm sorry. I know that I should know it because he's getting me in to watch the game, and I'm sorry for missing that. But Anthony, Golick, I believe is how you pronounce it. Go check him out on Twitter. AGSplash_. That is his Twitter, at AGSplash_. He is with Colts Beat. You guys might know him. Alex Rondo is with Colts Beat as well. Go check out Colts Beat and their podcast as well. They're getting me in to go see Week 1 versus Seattle. I have yet to see a game in Lucas Oil Stadium, so shout out to them. Thank you so much. Thank you. I will say that again next live stream too. Mm-hmm. I keep hitting it and it keeps going way down. See, this is what I'm talking about. My chat, I'll like barely scroll down a little bit and it'll flip all the way to the bottom, and I have no idea how many people I just skipped. Joey Chestnut ate 18 pounds and 9.6 ounces of St. Elmo's shrimp sauce in 8 minutes. Okay, so is Joey Chestnut, is that a country singer? It sounds like a country singer. I think there was a Chestnut that was a country singer. I don't follow country. Not closely, but I think it's a country singer. I could be wrong. I could be right. I don't know. If I am, I'm sorry. Whatever. Ray and Rice, Swaggy. What's up, Swaggy? Appreciate you. How many? First off, shout out to Ray and Rice. That's my daughter-in-law. What's up, girl?
Hey.
Says hoping 25 has an awesome year. So do a lot of us. Absolutely. I am actually a little bit surprised she even knows who 25 is. I'll be fair and frank about it. I didn't know she knew anything about the Colts.
She's been secretly watching the show for years. Just didn't let you know.
Yeah, right. Swaggy says, and I appreciate you being here, Swaggy. How many touches a game do you think Taylor's getting? Loyalist.
Oh, see, that's a wild card. I think that's going to change game to game, just like it was last year, even without Marlon. You know, I just think that there's certain teams that we're going to run the ball on. You know what I mean? And then there again, it depends. You know, do we have Carson in already? I mean, there's so many factors there. To sit there and try to give you a number would just be a blind guess. And I mean, do I think he's going to get the bulk of the carries? Yes, I do. Do I think that Marlon Mack is showing enough that he's going to cut into JT's touches a little bit? I think he did. I think Marlon is showing enough that, you know, that the Colts aren't going to have any hesitancy straight out of the gate, you know, giving him the ball either. So, I mean, I can honestly see this being a hot hand situation. And if Marlon gets the ball and rips it for 30 yards in the first drive, then I can see him getting it in the next drive. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, Frank Reich's a guy that's going to go with a hot hand. He's going to see what you look like in the first drive. If you got the hot hand, you're keeping it. If you're not, you know, ripping off 5, 10, 15-yard runs, then he's going to put somebody else in and see what they're going to do, you know. So for Marlon Mack to be, you know, on the high end, you're going to see him because, you know, Taylor's not going to be ripping off, you know, 15, 20-yard runs all the time. You know, there's going to be days when he's just not it right then. It happens. But somebody else's, because they play different style, could have more success. You know, that's why Nyheim Hines would get more carries at times than, you know, someone else. Because, you know, he has a different running style than both of those guys, too. Yeah, I think it's going to be more like what we was expecting last year. You know, where we was thinking that we were going to get a lot of shared carries with our backfield. You know, I think it's going to be more of a third, or third, 1/6, 1/6. We'll go with that route, you know, something of that nature.
I think that I think Marlon's actually going to cut into Nyheim's carries more than he will JT's also.
Well, carries, why, yeah.
Yeah, I think Nyheim, because he did real well. I'm not knocking. I mean, you know, he showed that he's comfortable running in between the tackles and stuff. But I think if coach has got to choose, I think he's going to want to give that ball to Mac before he gives it to Naheem in the run situations.
I want to jump out here and say, what's up, LA Rams? Appreciate you being here. Zach Erlinson, what up? Aaron Stackhouse says, and I'm going to get to that question in a second, Aaron. First, I want to jump up here so I don't completely miss this. But Kayvon Jacksar asks, if the season started today, what is your biggest concern?
Me personally would be left tackle. If it started today, I'm mostly concerned about left tackle.
If it started today, I'm mostly concerned about left guard. And here's the reason. Left tackle, you could throw a running back or a tight end to help chip or help block on that outside edge. That left guard is dealing with probably the most powerful interior pass rushers in the world. You know, going up against those three techs, and it's generally by himself. You know, and that is a scary situation. You know what I mean? I mean, granted, right now they're practicing against one of the best in the NFL already, you know, with DeForest Buckner. But I would rather there be pressure on the outside edge and the quarterback can just step up in the pocket rather than see the pressure come right up the gut and a guy like Eason, who does not do a very good job when he's flushed out of the pocket from pressure up the gut. So that worries me more than the tackle position, even though I get what you're saying and I understand that seems like it is probably the weaker spot on the line, even in the backup situations. But that tackle can get a little bit of help, and the quarterback can step up to avoid it. And that guard generally don't always get help, because sometimes the center has to be focused on somebody else, whether it be a blitzing linebacker or the one tech, you know. So,
and my rebuttal to that, and the only reason I stay with the tackle is I've got a lot of faith in Chris Reed.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this could prove to be one of the largest, not like one of the best off-season acquisitions, especially with Quentin. I mean, I know he says he's going to be out there week 1 and stuff, but I have to believe with a foot injury and all them feet getting tangled up, and I mean, linemen get stepped on constantly. So I think that, you know, for me, Chris Reed makes me feel a lot more comfortable than either Sam Tevy or Will Holton.
So Tim T asked a moment ago, also right after I was getting ready to talk about Aaron Stackhouse, I happened to, while you were talking about Chris Reed, I looked to see Tim T. What's up? Appreciate you being here. Asks, how's Chris Reed looking? So you just got your answer, Tim T. There you go. Aaron Stackhouse, not sure if this has been asked yet, but how's Rock looking?
I haven't seen him in pads. He was doing okay during the shells. You know, I don't know what your expectations were. I mean, does that mean that I'm at ease at that, you know, second outside cornerback spot? No, I'm not at ease at all. But, you know, like you said, you know, Rock doesn't lose everyone and he doesn't win everyone, you know?
No. Like I said, you know, Rock loses 2 or 3 battles a practice. And that generally is how it is with cornerbacks. I mean, Kenny Moore lost 2 really big ones yesterday. Really big ones yesterday. One to T.Y., one to Pascal. And, I mean, you saw how bad he lost to Pascal if you watched that tape from the Colts. I was sitting right there, and when it happened, I was like, oh, poor Kenny. That's going to be on a highlight reel. Kenny's going to be on the bad side of a highlight reel. And he was. It happens. You can't win every matchup.
I wonder if the Colts sit there and go, look at Kenny, or if the coaches are going, you know that's going to get released, don't you? I wonder if they give him a heads up for him.
But Rock has had some good moments. Rock has given up a couple bad ones. He got turned around on a Paris Campbell once, really bad, but it was Paris Campbell. And we've already talked about how good he's been all training camp. He got turned around on Michael Strawn once. Michael Strawn turned him around one time, and that was weird because he was in with the twos. Strawn was in, and Strawn got overthrown bigger than snot by Ellinger, which is also a weird situation. To say that Ellinger overthrew somebody because his arm strength is not very good, but it did happen. But there's been times where he'll lock his guy down. You know, I mean, he's basically in their back pocket and takes him completely out of a play, and that's what you want to see from a guy like Rock Ya-Sin. So there's both good and bad to Rock. You're going to hear mostly the bad from your reporters because that's all they report on when it comes to cornerbacks and stuff is when they fail, but they won't talk about when, you know, the what he looked like the majority of the day. Okay, so I want you to remember that whenever you see stuff.
I got a question real quick. This Ellinger, you know, I've been sitting here trying to figure out. Obviously, he's got a better arm than Uncle Phil had, okay? But is it, when we're watching him, are we holding him, you know, like for example, okay, Eason, Carson, Hundley, all these guys got big arms. I mean, you know, top tier arms in the league. Do you think that we're just seeing that and comparing them? Or is it that Sam just really doesn't have it? You know what I mean?
The problem with Sam is I think I've seen 3 passes where he had zip on the ball. And all 3 passes was 15 yards or shorter. Mm-hmm. Anything past 15 yards, it's a rainbow. And it seems like it takes an hour and a half to get to its target. It's like you could stop. You know, he throws the football and you're like, well, I'm kind of hungry. Go down, order a hot dog. They cook it. They put it in there. Go back up to the stands and then, oh, look, it's an incomplete pass. Okay.
That's not true, guys. I know them lines are too long for that.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, I'm doing my famous local reporter reporting, okay? No. Ellinger hasn't looked that bad, all right? He does look, I mean, his throws are reminiscent of the type of throws that you would see from Phillip Rivers. And that is the truth. I'm not going to lie about that. You know, it's mostly kind of high arcing, slow moving balls. And in a situation like that, we got to see, because Rivers was a special talent, even with, you know, so I don't ever think he's going to be a Phillip Rivers type quarterback. He's too short anyhow. He's not even, is he? Well,
6'2".
I'm going to be fair. Yeah. He's standing beside Jacob Eason, and Jacob Eason makes everybody look like a little short, or, you know, makes everybody look like a garden gnome. But he's not an especially tall quarterback. Okay. And there's times when he shows some really good accuracy. I'm not going to lie. But there are also times when his accuracy is not on target. And I've seen worse throws from Sam Ellinger than what I've seen from Jacob Eason when they're standing in the pocket. Right?
Yes.
Pocket passing throws. His throws, his bad ones, are way worse than Eason's. I'm not talking about when they're flushed out of the pocket and they're throwing on the run, because that's a different story. But, you know, pocket passing, yeah. You might be right. We might just be used to the Peyton Mannings, the Phillip Rivers, and the Andrew Lucks. You know, and we got a high bar. But in a way, you kind of got to keep a high bar, don't you? I mean, maybe not to MVP Hall of Fame level high, but
right.
I mean, high enough to where you're comfortable with them being your starter, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and the thing for me, and I don't want to downsell this, guys, is Sam is showing grit. Okay? I mean, he is just showing toughness. I mean, not to mention all the trauma and everything that he went through before he even, got on the practice field and stuff. But the kid is, he doesn't look like he's being overwhelmed by the situation at all. I mean, he's out there, and you see him ribbing each other and stuff. So I guess my thing is I don't want to sit there and paint this Bryce Velander like he's not capable. I just don't ever see him being somebody that you want more than intermittently between, half a game or something. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Dabney Offerman asks a good question here. He says, what time does training camp start tomorrow? Let me explain something. During weekdays, I'm pretty sure weekdays are generally the doors open at 8, but practice starts at 10, right? During weekends, it's usually starting closer to noonish, right?
No, sir. 8 o'clock Saturday and 8 o'clock Sunday also this weekend.
This weekend it's 8 o'clock as well? Because last weekend it wasn't. Last weekend it started later.
Right.
But generally...
That's what got me all twisted up.
Yeah. If you get there between 9:30, you'll get there before the action starts. But the doors open at 8. So...
And I tell you, and if you get there between 9 or 9:30... Just understand, you're going to have a long walk in and a long walk out, unless you get lucky and find one of those amazing staff people with their golf carts, because they are awesome.
That is true. There is a massive amount of parking space there, and if you show up at when the gates open at 8 o'clock, you literally could park about a minute away from the gate. All right. If you show up at 9:30, 10 o'clock, you're going to take a 20-minute walk to get there. Okay, so just heads up. Okay.
And guys, remember, Lawrence walks fast. 20 minutes your time, 25, 30 mine.
Okay, sounds cool. So what you've seen is pay worth that first round pick. I know he's a rookie, but do you think that we got our money's worth?
Oh yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, just out of physical talent, grit, know-how. His natural God-given abilities, he's worth the first round pick. Okay, I'm just laying that out there on the line right now. If he can learn some technique and on certain things and learn those double moves and counter moves and things of that nature, then he's going to be way worth the first pick. You got to remember, this isn't like a top 10 first round pick.
Exactly. This isn't Chase Young or Myles Garrett.
No.
Like you said, it's 21 and yeah.
He's worthy. I'll give you that. He's worthy. He may not get his double-digit sacks this year, but I can see 6 to 8 easy. Okay? That's what I'm looking at. And I think that's about where you're seeing it too, right, Loyalist?
Yeah. Like I said, I've heard some of the predictions and I was getting all hyped, and now that I've watched it and stuff, I'm back to finding my even keel.
Dabby says that's crazy. I'm allergic to cocktail sauce but love seafood. I like fish. I can have regular fish, like bass or something, or anything out of the river generally. I can have. I just can't have the shellfish out of the ocean. Sorry. A name I haven't said yet today. Skylar and Kirsten. Kirsten, I believe is actually how it's pronounced. What up, Owen? If Eason does start a couple games and balls out, and we are 2-0 or something like that, do you think we stick with him? Yes. All day, every day. If Eason is balling out, you do not change the temperature of the oven. Okay? If the oven is cooking perfectly, you don't change the temperature of the oven. All right? I'm a full believer in that. But at the same time, the odds of that happening are slim to none, because game 2 is the Rams, and that's a hell of a defense.
Yeah. And another thing I would say is if we're winning, okay, but if it's receivers that are making extraordinary receptions, or in other words, if the coach sits there and says, okay, I think we can get better production out of Carson, I could see them, not rushing him back into it. You know what I mean? We're winning, so he can buy an extra week of, getting rehab and getting acclimated. But yeah, like you said, I mean, if they're putting dubs on the board, then that's what they're all about.
Yep. What's up, Brandon Wood? Appreciate you being in here. Thank you. Don't forget, smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, tag that notification bell. It's been an hour and a half, Loyalist. Are you still good, or should I jump down to the bottom of the chat and get a couple questions there?
I don't mean to end the party, but if we can get just a couple more, I'd appreciate it.
All right, I just jumped all the way down to the bottom. You guys got about 5-10 minutes. If there's a question that you want in, feel free to use that super chat that's in the link right down there. But, and I'm sorry if I completely missed a bunch of people like Terrence Gibbons 33. What's up? Appreciate you. Mr. J567, he's in here as well. I think Sam has the potential to be a good situational quarterback. Hard to see him ever being a starter, though. I think he can. The thing is, what hurts him isn't being a pocket quarterback. All right, everything that makes a good pocket quarterback, Eason has. It's the movement. It's on the move, and that's the pocket quarterbacks still can be very, very successful even in today's NFL. Okay,
we saw that last year.
Yeah, well, right. I mean, it is what it is. Abe McGee, Easton got the arm and the height. Yeah. I don't know which is bigger. You know, the fact that he looks like Jolly Green Giant out there on the field, or the fact that he throws the ball so well. I mean, it's not just his arm strength. When he throws it deep, you could actually see a really beautiful arc on the football. Okay? Now, there's times where he was like Luck when, you know, he would throw. Do you remember when Andrew Luck would throw a swing out pass or something, and sometimes he would throw it a little too hard, and it made it difficult for the running backs to catch the football? I've noticed that from Eason. Okay? I have noticed that from Eason. He kind of very similar Luck style when it comes to, you know, throwing that swing pass. But other than that, he's got a beautiful throw. I mean, gorgeous throw. Toxic says Ryan Leaf had a howitzer, but he was a 24-karat turkey. That is true. That is true.
Yeah, I just think he was a young man that wasn't ready for the situation he found himself in.
Easy Z, what's up, fellas? Appreciate you being in here. Any word on how my boy Julian Blackman has been doing in camp? We've talked about Blackman a little bit. Up and down camp for him. Mostly good. He's been showed out a couple times by a couple guys, but it happens to everybody. No one is perfect, you know. So I'm not disappointed in Blackman at all by any means. I'm more disappointed in Khari Willis than I am in Blackman, and that really it hurts me deep inside because I love Khari Willis. Larry Brown's in here now. What's up, guys? Remember, it's past an hour and a half. We're going to be getting ready to end this soon. Buckner and Big Grover Stewart are eat up other O-linemen on the other teams that we play. And yeah, Grover Stewart's quietly had a really good camp as well. We didn't mention him earlier, but he has. Okay, he's just not like top dog kind of, but he's quietly had a really, really good camp. And DeForest Buckner would have to have 10 sacks a game for me to say that, you know, he is, you know, performed above and beyond, you know, what I expect from him, because I have a pretty darn high bar for DeForest Buckner. Okay, just because his name hasn't came up doesn't mean he's not doing good. Okay. It's just a really high bar. It's like way up here. Okay. So just getting that out there. Truitt came in, but he's a little late, and we're getting ready to end it. I'm sorry, my guy. At least you made it in here. I get to shout you out. Truitt is one of my newest Patreon members. As a matter of fact, let's take this moment to shout out all my Patreon members. that's what I want to do. I want to give a shout out to all of my Patreon members. Remember, it's only $5 a month, and you get first access to my Patreon streams, live streams. And who is on my Patreon? Well, Zach Bollinger just joined Patreon yesterday. Cheng Andrew, MTS, what's up? Matt Stansberry, Truett Tressler, as I said, Martin Hazel, of course. Ura NPT is in here as well. Brian Walton. Now, you guys might notice some of these names that are in the chat. All right? These are all Patreons. Be like them. Be cool. Join Patreon. Colts Loyalist, obviously, is a Patreon. He was a Patreon before he became my co-host. Pedro51. Joe Thornburg, maybe you recognize that name. Ross, of course, is a Patreon as well. And so is Ant Rogers. Be cool. Join Patreon. The link is at the very bottom of the description of the video. I'm sorry. I just felt like I had to talk like that. Look at them. They're all in there. They're in here. Matt says, oh, crap. I thought I was signing up for OnlyFans. Oh, I'm sorry. My shirt don't come
really
off.
Disappointed.
Matt Stansberry says Colts are going to be OP in this year's Madden. I don't know. I haven't really looked at Madden, but I bet they are, honestly. But ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate each and every one of you. On behalf of Colts Law, on behalf of everything that I have done over this past 4 years of bringing Colts content to you guys, this is what I love doing most. Sitting here doing a live stream, hanging out with all you guys, chatting with you. It is a blast. It's what I look forward to. Even when I am dead beat tired. Dead beat ass tired. All right? I dropped the word. All right? When I am that tired after doing, all that stuff from training camp and stuff and coming back and putting aloe all over my burns. He's seen my knees earlier. My knees look like lobsters, okay? I still want to do the live streams with you guys, especially on Patreon. I missed a lot of you out there on Patreon, yesterday's Patreon, after yesterday's camp. Joe joined us, and Matt, he joined us. I think a couple guys, but for the most part, it was mostly just us sitting there talking, and we still went an hour and a half, right? So, that's what we do. And it's easy, and it's fun. So, and I really like doing it. Guys, thanks so much. Please don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, tag that notification bell, share the stream, because you guys help us get out to more people, and the more people that we get out to, the better we end up doing, and the better content we can provide you. So Ross says he fell asleep. My bad. It's all good, my boy. It's all good. Until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Colts Loyalist. And as usual, have a good one.
Just because a player's not a household name doesn't mean we can't make